You see that? You see that? Android 3.0 finally on the market. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and Honeycomb is finally out, and you can get it in your hands as of today. The Motorola XOOM came out today on Verizon Wireless, $599 on a 2-year agreement, $799 if you're buying it no contract. It's also the first tablet on the market, at least, to support the NVIDIA Tegra 2 1 GHz processor. So it's a fast tablet, theoretically at least, 10.1-inch display, Android 3.0, 5-megapixel camera, front-facing camera, and more. Is this a tablet for you? Should you get this one? Should you wait for the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, the touchpad, the HTC Flyer? We're going to find out at least some of that in the unboxing. But first, special thanks to our guys at Best Buy Mobile. They're not hooking us up with these, but they've given us a ton of phones in the One Paw Bandit game. When you go into Best Buy Mobile, you walk out working. So whether you're buying this or a phone, they'll help you set up your email, your web, and more. Enough of that. Let's get into the unboxing and kind of mini review of the Motorola XOOM. Is this a tablet to have, or should you wait? We'll find out. Dual-core processor technology finally in a tablet. As I said, the Motorola XOOM launched today, $799 off contract, $599 on contract, with a 2-year agreement. 1 GHz Tegra 2 dual-core processor, 10.1-inch display, and it's a nice display. It's 1280 by 800 pixels. So it's a high resolution, looks great, and all-around good display. 5-megapixel camera with a flash in the back, front-facing camera for video calls, and perhaps most importantly, it's running Android 3.0 Honeycomb, the first tablet to run Honeycomb in the US right now, available in retail stores. So, it's one of those, it's a series of firsts between the dual-core Tegra 2 processor, Honeycomb as well. That said, I've honestly had about 15 minutes of hands-on time with this one. So what you're getting from me is very literally a first impressions of not only the hardware, but the software as well, Honeycomb. We had some time with these devices at CES and at Mobile World Congress, but not nearly enough to formulate any sort of opinion. So you can see here's the tablet, Motorola XOOM, and it's got a great weight to it. It feels good in the hand. It's not lightweight, but it's not too heavy to the point where you couldn't carry it in a briefcase or in a bag on the way to the airport. So you can see the fingerprints are already on there, so it is a fingerprint magnet. But you see Motorola logo in the left-hand corner, Verizon logo on the right. Here's what the bottom looks like. HDMI port, micro USB charging port, and kind of a dock connector with some nice pretty screws. And then so you have this over here, nothing over there, 3.5mm headphone jack on the top. Show you here. 4G when it's available. It's not available just yet, but you can replace it once it is. You can throw that 4G LTE SIM card in there, and you'll be on Verizon's LTE service. On the left side, volume rocker over here. So it's a very minimalistic design. And you have your 5-megapixel camera on the back. Now it picks up dust and just general stuff like that, like it's nobody's business. But you have your 5-megapixel camera, your flash, a speaker back here, and here's the power button. So very similar to an iMac. So then of course you get into the box and you have, like anything else, you don't have much in the box. You have an AC adapter. And actually this is not the module and the separate USB, it's a dedicated charger. So you can see dedicated, I haven't seen one of those in a couple years, dedicated Motorola charger. Actually no, I'm sorry, it's not micro USB, it's an actual proprietary charger, or non-micro USB rather. A couple of instruction manuals, master your device, important consumer information, you're future ready, it's 4G LTE upgradable, and once that's eligible you can take advantage of that. Consumer information about radio frequencies and product safety. And then of course your USB cable for syncing it up to your computer right there. So, not a lot in the accessory front. You can buy additional accessories at Verizon. Screen protectors, cases, and a wireless keyboard, which I think runs $80. And it is, I forgot to mention this a second ago, it's a 32 gigabyte model. So it is a, let me adjust these lights so you can kind of see. It's a very glossy display, so it may be hard to see. But 32 gigabyte model, and for $800, that's pretty serious chunk of change. So, it's got one of those things you kind of want to ask yourself, do I get a laptop? Do I get a netbook? Do I get a laptop and a netbook for $800, or do I go with a cheaper tablet? But here's Honeycomb, and I spent, like I said, 15 or 20 minutes with it, and I've been pretty impressed thus far. Android 2.2, Android 2.3, they weren't intended to run on tablets. They kind of tried to shove them into tablets with the Galaxy Tab, the original Galaxy Tab that is, and they weren't intended to run on tablets. So you have this kind of phone operating system on a device like the Galaxy Tab, and it just didn't work out. This is 100% optimized for a tablet PC, and you can see, almost everything's changed, but the funny thing is the functionality isn't that different. I mean, you look at, things have changed. The notifications bar has kind of moved down here to the bottom, as you can see. But, for the most part, that glare is killing the autofocus. But the notifications are down here instead of up top. There's no notifications bar. You can see Google shortcut, your voice shortcut. Apps are up here. The ability to add a widget up here. So it's mostly minor navigational things. So after about 10 or 15 minutes, somebody that's used to Android like myself, after about 10 or 15 minutes, I was able to navigate through with ease. The first 5 or 10 minutes, it was actually kind of funny because I had no clue what I was doing. But we'll save that story for another day. So you have your apps up here. You have your ability to add widgets and add other things to the home screens. There are 5 home screens, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can add various widgets and things like that. Now I added this Gmail widget, for example, where you can see your emails, and they are active widgets, so you can scroll up and down and see your emails. And then, of course, the web browsing experience on this device has been great so far, like I said, in the few minutes that I've had it. Pinch to zoom is absolutely, just unusually fast for an Android device. Again, that's, the Honeycomb improvement, I'm assuming, but let's turn it into portrait mode so we can get a real idea of what it's like. That's, incredibly fast. That's iPad fast. So for once, an Android device, in my opinion, has caught up with an iOS device in terms of fluidity and ease of use. You can see, pinch to zoom, no lag whatsoever there. And then double tap to zoom in, double tap to zoom out. And this is more of a desktop-like browsing experience. You can see this Chrome-like tab setup up here to add a new tab. I'll click that. It'll bring up, else I can type in, for example, CNN.com, which actually they just launched their application today for Honeycomb, so something I'll have to look into downloading. But you can see flip back and forth between those tabs. And like I said, it's a near desktop browsing experience. It looks just like a normal browser. You have your favorites, search, and RSS stuff over there, and when you want to go back, you can just click your little navigational links down here. Settings are all up there. So again, very similar, at least in some ways, to stock or Android OSs of the past, with the exception they've improved the browser and made it look more desktop browser-like, if you will. Android has no, outside of going into the settings and physically seeing this number, they've never had a native widget or anything like that. You just had the battery meter up top. So you never had any way of telling what the battery was. On the tablets, you do have this 67% right on the main screen, so it's very easy to see, and you can see Twitter down here. You have 7 new mentions. For example, I can click the X and close that out, and then I can click this little icon right here if you see it and go into more detailed things like airplane mode, Wi-Fi, lock screen orientation, notifications, settings, and things like that. What you're seeing here on the main screen, these are all widgets, and then of course your apps. We can double tap, if I remember right. Yeah, there we go. Or not double tap, I'm sorry, press and hold. And we can go to analog clock bookmarks, for example. Let's find a widget just to put on the screen. We'll do, how about a Gmail widget? I'll take that, scroll it up, and see here. Yeah, bear with me. Like I said, I'm new to this as well. So take it up, scroll it up, and you see it's over there on that 5th screen. So we can go over, let's do a Facebook widget, for example. Press and hold, take it up there, and it's up there as well. Google search, we can take that one up as well. We'll put it over here. So press and hold, bring it over there. So when I click on that, there's the Google search, there's the Gmail, and then I scroll all the way back over here, Gmail again, and then there's the Facebook widget. Of course, now you look at a tablet optimized application like Twitter, where it's very, let's go in there and you can see optimized for the tablet out of the box. And there are a select few like Facebook and other things that are optimized out of the box, but very clean, very easy to use, looks just like the phone application, but obviously is in tablet form, supports the bigger screen, and you could see, let me show you the portrait keyboard while I'm thinking about it. We'll compose a tweet, and you can see that's what the portrait keyboard looks like, a little bit smaller, but still very similar to Apple's iPad keyboard. Then you have your same options down here. We can close that, we can go back, and these are kind of dynamic buttons that change depending on what application you're in and what you're doing on the actual device. So all in all, a nice device in my opinion, and again, this is first impressions for me too. So what you're seeing, first time I've really had some decent hands-on time with it. Honeycomb is a nice contender. It actually is smooth. And there are still issues to work out with the software, but it's smooth, relatively easy to use once you get used to it. The transition effects are good. They're right there on par with iOS. and more. So this would definitely be a good consideration for somebody who, is on the fence. They don't really want an iPad, but they need some form of a tablet. You may want to look at this, but we're going to do some more testing in the full review, so keep it locked on the site for that. Be sure to like us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/phonedog. We're giving away stuff all the time, and we're going to start into some new giveaways in the coming weeks, so be sure to like us. Facebook.com/phonedog. Follow me on Twitter as well, phonedog_Aaron. I'd love to hear what you think about this tablet. If you have any specific questions for me, you want me to look up something, I'm happy to do my best to do that for you. phonedog_Aaron. Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked on the site for the review and additional coverage on the Motorola XOOM tablet. We'll see you next time.